Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Boulder City in Fallout New Vegas. Now, this was recommended to me by Wesley Gossett, who said, can you look at Builder City? But I'm pretty sure he meant Boulder City. So, as with many locations in New Vegas, Boulder City is a real location in real life. So we can definitely go visit it if you want. It's a very famous city because of its proximity to Hoover Dam. And of course, in Fallout New Vegas, the proximity to Hoover Dam plays an important role for the town and explains why the town is in such poor state. So as you can see here on the map, here is Boulder City. It's kind of in the center of the map. It's directly east of Vault 11 and near the 188 trading post. Now, coming down the main street, there's a lot of buildings that have fallen into disrepair and lay in ruins. So there's not a whole lot on this street as far as these buildings, but at the end of this street we can find the NCR Memorial for the first battle of Hoover Dam. And there's a very funny and evil interaction with a NCR soldier here named Private Kowalski, but it'll give you negative karma. And the memorial reads, on this spot in the year 2277, Rangers and soldiers of the new California Republic turned back the forces of Caesar's Legion during the Battle of Hoover Dam. Over 100 men and women gave their lives on Nevada soil to defend local civilians and the principles of the Republic. May this humble stone be an enduring memorial to their valor and sacrifice. And then over here on this building, we have the Big Horn Saloon. And this saloon is actually operating, and you're going to find a lot of city workers inside of it. And the bartender has some very interesting dialogue.
A customer. Not many people come into Boulder City these days. Most of the town is rubble, destroyed during the Battle of Hoover Dam. And the only other thing around here is the concrete mixing yard. The NCR has been constructing bunkers up and down the river. From what I've heard, it's a little late for that. Travelers over at the 188, just up the road, said that the Legion has overrun a couple of towns to the south. Most of the limestone comes from Quarry Junction out west. The supply had stopped for a while because of a Deathclaw problem. I heard some badass wastelander killed the Deathclaws, and deliveries of limestone have been coming in again. I don't think they've gotten the trains up and running yet, but most of the concrete plant workers have come back to town now. Good for business.
So from this interaction, we can learn that the NCR actually had some of the trains up and running, which is something I never realized. But they were obviously using the trains to bring in limestone from Quarry Junction near Sloan. And of course, the badass wanderer that he mentions is the courier, once you've cleared Quarry Junction. So it's pretty cool that the player's actions have an impact on the rest of the game. You kill all the Deathclaws at Quarry Junction, and the limestone shipments to Boulder City start to go again. But obviously the trains aren't working now. Over here in this building, you will find a lot of skeletons inside, and on the top we're going to find a holodisc. I've actually mentioned this holodisc before in my Whitaker Farmstead video. But the holodisc that's at Whitaker Farmstead is a mistake. This is where it's supposed to be. So here we can see the Ranger holodisc next to a service rifle. And it reads, we're cut off from the rest of the platoon. And there are legionaries all over the place. There's no chance we can get out of here before they blow the town. So we're going to hold out against them as long as we can. If anyone gets this, I'd like to make sure that Private Jeffrey Hugh and Corporal Marcus Christensen are commended for their valor and sacrifice. Both have upheld the ideals and honor of the new California Republic with distinction. Ranger Teresa Lutz, out. So obviously some pretty cool environmental storytelling here. We can see all of the skeletons and the weapon and the ranger hat. So we're left to assume this is where those rangers made their last stand. So kind of a grim area. Boulder City was actually pretty much destroyed during the first battle of Hoover Dam. The Legion tried to invade, but the NCR destroyed the city, or they blew it up, leaving most of it in ruins. And if we come over to this part of the town, we can really see those ruins, right? So many destroyed buildings, and there's just not a whole lot we can do here. Now, of course, this area is very important for the main quest with the Great Khan standoff with the NCR, where we have to either help the NCR or the Great Khans or resolve the situation peacefully. Over here we have an very easy locked door, and something I never realized, but I'm pretty sure the game was designed to allow the player to sneak around without being seen by the Great Khans. Usually the Great Khans are not hostile with me, so I always just walk straight to them. But it does appear they wanted to allow the player the option to sneak up behind them. Then inside, we can take some things, but other things are considered stealing. Basically, anything that would have belonged to the Great Khans is considered stealing. Anything that's just left over, like from the general store, is okay to take. We also have a bed in here with a pillow, which is kind of interesting. There's not too many pillows in Fallout New Vegas. Then on this side of the street, we have some buildings which we can enter, but there's not a whole lot in here besides some beds and like some empty bathrooms. But inside these toilets and the other room, we can actually find chems, which is kind of interesting. But again, as you can see here, I'm pretty sure it was intended for the player to be able to sneak around to the Great Khans, or maybe sneak around back to the NCR. And then up in this room, we actually have a copy of True Police Stories, but besides that, not a whole lot up here. And there's also some spiked knuckles, which you could use, I guess, if you were new to the game. But for me, not such a great weapon. In the next house, again, more beds, just like before. And in this bathroom, though, we have a bunch of ammunition and some buff out in the bathtub, along with a submachine gun, but I don't really want that right now. And again, it looks like we could sneak back behind all of this. Upstairs, there's nothing but ruins. So we can clearly see the devastation of the war between the NCR and Caesar's Legion here in Boulder City. It's kind of sad, but through the actions of the player, we can start to bring Boulder City back to life, which I think is really cool. Boulder City has always been very important for Hoover Dam. During Hoover Dam's construction, the workers lived in Boulder City. And now, in Fallout New Vegas, Boulder City is very important for the NCR and for making concrete for the NCR's defenses. So it still remains a vital area in the post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Unexplored Mojave. If you have any recommendations for the next video, please post them in the comments section below. And as always, until next time.